Hey everybody, and welcome to another top 10 video. And today I am going to be doing my top 10 favorite monsters of all time in video games. Take in mind, this is my opinion. I don't take into account what other people want because it's my channel, it's my list. My top 10 favorite monsters, starting off with Half-Life and Half-Life 2 with the head crabs. Yeah, I know they're not technically monsters. They're weird alien, anti-dimensional theory. Blah, blah, blah. They're monsters and they're creepy and they came out of fucking nowhere and they scared the shit out of me. Head crabs take number 10. Number 9 on my list goes to the Balverine from Fable 1. From Fable 1 specifically because they came at you in a massive pack, and if you weren't prepared for them, you died. Unlike Fable 2 and 3, where they were just easy as crap to kill because they dumbed down the entire difficulty of the Fable game for 2 and 3. Alright, and number 8 goes to the ooze creatures from Legend of Zelda. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, you know how annoying they are when they just kind of mush around the screen and you had to get by them. Because, well, you could kill them, but it was not worth the time it took to kill the damn thing. So ooze takes 8. And at number 7, the Quadrahorn, or the Quadahorn, or the big giant dog thing with horns on its back from Final Fantasy X. You first see it on the Mi'ihen High Road right after Luca. It's the big dog thing. I don't remember exactly what it's called. I think it's the Quadrahorn. I'm not quite sure. But kicking off another one from Final Fantasy X is the bomb. I know it's been in other Final Fantasy games, but I specifically like the one from Final Fantasy X just because the creepy ass face on it. It's all grinning and the demon things and alright, and sticking with Final Fantasy IV, the Salamanders. Yeah, these guys were a little bit annoying because they were really quick, but they were typically easy to kill, and they gave you quite a bit of experience for killing them. So they were worth it. Yeah, they were fast and they were annoying, but yeah, it was a good way to level grind in Final Fantasy IV. All right, and anyone who played the original Final Fantasies like 1 and 2, you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about right now with the Crazy Horse. The Crazy Horse is right outside the starting area. Was every once in a while you're fighting goblins, you'd get the Crazy Horse. It was just this horse with a ton of HP that was trying to kill you. It was hilarious. Later on, there's a stronger version of it called the Wild Horse. Yeah, but they're like ridiculously colored horses among the ugly goblins. And it's just this big horse trying to kill you. And I thought it was hilarious as a kid because I was like, a horse isn't intimidating. And then I grew up and realized one horse kick to your chest can end your life. So I was like, oh, horses are terrifying. But yeah, the Crazy Horse takes number 4. And number 3 is the Knight. And I'm speaking specifically about the Frost and the Hell Knights from DMC. These guys were terrifying looking, and I'm talking about the DMC reboot where they were like the weird anime art style. They were ugly guys that were a pain. They had the shields and they blocked pretty much every attack unless you broke the shield with one of your demonic weapons. Well, actually, you broke the shield with your demonic weapon for the Hell Knight. For the Frost Knight, you had to use your angelic weapons to stun him and then waylay on him, because only the angelic weapons would hurt the Frost Knight, and only the Hell weapons would hurt the Hell Knight. So it was kind of a pain, but they were really fun, and they kind of broke up combat and made it a little bit more interesting at that point in the game. Sticking with DMC for a little bit, because when you bring up DMC, you have to bring up the most common enemy throughout all the game, the Stygian. Now, I'm not talking about your lesser Stygian or your greater Stygian, just the normal Stygian, the one that just keeps coming. They're not exactly the weakest enemy, but they're not the strongest. But if multiple of them surrounded you, you could be in trouble there for a little bit. and they were kind of a pain in the new remake because I played on the hardest difficulty, and then when I was done with that, when I played on the Son of Sparta mode, so it threw everything at you, and everything was harder, but it came at you in random waves. So it was never the same monsters in the areas where I had previously met them. So it was a little bit of a different experience for me, and I ended up dying to a Stygian once, and it was the first time that had ever happened ever playing through any DMC game ever. And I lost my mind. I was like, no, no, a Stygian cannot kill Dante. What the f is going on right now? And so the Stygian, that specific reason, just for that specific point in time, probably is what made the Stygian get on this list in the first place. But so anyway, and on to number one. And this is kind of a cop out because it's not only a horde of little tiny enemies, but also a boss fight from Fable 1. And I'm speaking of the scorpions in the arena. Yeah, that massive horde of scorpions that just came from everywhere, and Whisper didn't really help much, so you were pretty much on your own. And then you had the giant scorpion coming at you, so it was a pain for a fight, but it made a great difficult little thing there for the arena, because the arena up to that point was way too easy, and then this giant thing came out calling out tons of scorpions, and you were just like, oh shit. And then when you beat it, you felt so good, and then you realized you weren't done yet. So you had to keep going through the arena. But that fight specifically for me stuck in my mind, mostly because everything trying to kill Whisper. And she got stuck one time between the boss and the spinning blade traps. So she kept getting hit back and forth, which actually in turn allowed me to kill the boss, because I was able to shoot it in the head with my bow. And at that point I had like some of the best equipment. I had an ebony longbow. Well, I had an ebony bow that had fire. It had a fire augment in it, so I was really powerful bow. And then I had a master katana, which had lightning and piercing on. So I was just annihilating everything with my sword, and then I just destroyed the boss with my bow on that last section, because the boss had glitched where he wasn't able to move, but he was constantly hitting Whisper because he was in that little charge move, but he got stuck on the wall, so he just kept hitting Whisper, and then Whisper would get bounced back, and then off the trap, and then off him, and then off the trap, and then off him, and off the trap. So it gave me enough time to kill him with a really good shot to the face, with full power, zoomed in, perfect shot, and I annihilated him, and I got some really good loot from that. And then I proceeded to go through the arena and whoop the crap out of Whisper, and I let her live that time. It was the only time I let Whisper live. I think every other time I killed Whisper, but I let Whisper live that time because I knew later on, after you beat the game, you can go back to the academy, find Whisper, and make her your wife. And I was just like, I want to marry Whisper. Just because. And it was just a fun little experience there in the arena, was the scorpion fight. And that's made them one of my favorite monsters in video game history to this day. And I'm not going to do any honorable mentions this time because I couldn't think of any. If you guys have anything you think should have been on this list, or if you have a completely different list, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. But I am going to be signing off right now. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit that like button. You want to see more? Subscribe up there. And I will see you in the next video. I am out, guys. Peace.